good evening, and thank you for tuning in to another week with Fathers Who Care. We apologize for that 2-minute delay, but we had to get our prayer on up in here first.
Most definitely.
We've been running all day. We had a chance to calm down, and I want to just say we took the opportunity to calm down. Of course, my name is Reverend Walter Jones. I'll be your servant leader tonight as you'll be watching Fathers Who Care. And our guest this evening, I'm just going to go straight on in there. We have our immediate guest here of honor, which is Hulk, Tyron Hulk.
Theron, to be exact.
Theron Hulk, forgive me, T-H-E-R-O-N.
Yes.
And then, of course, we have none other than our little protege over there on the far right. What's your name again? David Elam, the President Emeritus of our West Garfield Park Youth Council. And he has been doing a yeoman's job lately on getting this research together on the street names of different drugs, information on opioids, what type of opioids are out here, Oxycontin, all this other kind of stuff, fentanyl and all this other stuff. Then he's been getting data, Hulk, on what's been happening in the neighborhood, the homicide rates, the shootings, where they're getting shot at. You know, so we've been trying to stay afloat with the numbers of what's going on, because we don't think those numbers are properly being translated. So we got David, who's been in the frame of mind to do some research. But listen, let me say this to those who are watching tonight. We hope that you can come on out and hang out with us at Clark Park tomorrow. We're going to have a movie night, Steppers night, open mic night, free food, free entertainment. You will need to be there to have some fun. The summer's coming to a close somewhat. The young folks are getting ready to go back to school real soon. So we need your help. We need your donations. Come on out and bring a couple book bags with you and be a blessing and give them to some of these young folks. And we'll provide you with some food, some tables that you can put your resources on. But we need your help. I mean, I really believe, Hawk, if we all work together, it wouldn't be hard on nobody. If everybody brought a little bit to the table, we can have a nice gumbo and everybody can eat. And I think until we do that in our community, we're going to be in bad shape, because no one in the community has a lot of anything by yourself. But if we bring a little bit of what we have together with each other in the community, then we can make a difference. Listen, this show is going to be entitled specifically, Can Teamwork Make the Dream Work?
Teamwork can definitely make the dream work.
Can teamwork really make the dream work? I believe it can. I just want to make sure. But what we really want to do in the process of that, we want to make sure that we let those who are watching the show tonight understand that we really want to take this show to another level, in that we want to educate you on the opioids. We want to educate you on the emerging drugs. We want to educate you on the plight of what's going on in your neighborhood. We want to hopefully get you all to come out and register to vote. We also want you to come out and understand that it takes a village, a real village, to raise our children. We need to come together. And then I want to throw out a special shout and heartfelt condolences to of course, to the Griffin's family, Demetrius Griffin, the young man who was brutally murdered on the west side, threw in a garbage can and burnt alive. It's the Nooney's Walk. It's going to be tomorrow, Friday, August 17th. It's going to be on the corner of Pine and Walton. There's also a reward that the family would like to give out along with the Leaders Network. There's a reward on information for the arrest, the capture and the arrest of those who was responsible for taking the life of our dear young son. So Demetrius Griffin's Nooney's Walk is tomorrow on Pine and Walton. And then we also want to send out our special blessings and condolences to the Muhammad family, specifically for Thana Muhammad, a.k.a. Maddie Jean Chandler, who was, of course, an 80-year-old woman, elder of ours, who was brutally murdered in her home out on 104th. There's a reward for her, for information on those who are responsible for her as well. So justice for Thana, justice for Demetrius Griffin. So with that being said, for additional information on that, give us a call at Fathers Who Care at 773-287-5821. That's our office number, and we'll refer you to the families who really need that information. But with that being said, let's get on to the show. The show we want to talk specifically about, we really want to kind of encourage the community and those who are watching tonight about the importance in working together. I'll just openly say this here, that we are one community among many that just seem to have our own mindset of what community means, and don't understand that it really do take all of us to empower any of us. So, and the young people really can't be what they can't see. So if we don't show these young folks how to be entrepreneurs, legal entrepreneurs, how to run their own businesses, how to run a home, how to run a community, how can they do it? So I'm encouraging those of you to watch tonight to tell us, to call in and tell us what can we do to make sure that we set an example for our young people and pour into our young people some positive energies and get out of that frame of mind that ain't my problem, that's your problem. Let's get back to the morals and the values of what was going on before us. But so with that being said, we want you to give us a call and tell us what can we do to help motivate you to be more actively involved in your community. And also, are you aware of the new emerging drugs in your neighborhood? Are you familiar with opioids? Are you familiar with spice? Are you familiar with K2? Are you familiar with crocodile? Are you familiar with lean? Are you familiar with mollies? Are you familiar with what's they call it today? The Legos. What's the new one they call it today?
SpongeBob's.
The SpongeBob, yeah. They got these mollies out now called SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
You know, the cartoon, the little character.
Yeah.
But anyway, Hawk and David and Hawk, thank you all for coming out tonight. So let's get started on this show. Hawk, I want to ask you a question first, and then I want to come on over there to you, David. So tell us, Hawk, what is it that you do that you're really proud of in your life? What has given you the most joy in your life?
Well, in my life, so far, when I finally graduated from college, not that my high school graduation and my kindergarten graduation wasn't the big deals, but those were also monumental points in my life. But it took me 8 years to graduate from college, and not because I was a bad student, but because I got bit by the travel bug by playing in the jazz band at my college. We traveled extensively, every year, playing in the concert band in college. We traveled every fall, so I was able to see the world. I've been around the world. I've seen places that a lot of brothers and sisters, especially a poor black brother from the West Side, would not have been able to see.
So you traveled abroad?
Yes, unless you have an education or some money to get there.
So with all of that you got in your repertoire or your history in life, what is your calling on your life? What are you called to do with all of that?
Well, I set musical goals for myself when I was young, and thank God I've really pretty much achieved all my musical goals. So I worked for UPS while I was in school, and I ended up doing 36 years at UPS and retired from UPS after 36 years, with 6 of those years being part-time. And as I was full-time, it was a good job, good benefits, but I really hated the job because its worth, it didn't resonate with me.
Well, how did that correlate to where you are now? Because you have such a passion. Let me just digress here. Let me introduce you. Hawk here is a man of God. He's a musician, he's a producer, he's an artist, he's a community activist. He's actively involved in the community. He's always out and about trying to figure what's going on, where it's going on, and how he can be actively involved. You're trying to unite people, educate, enlighten people, empower people, and encourage people about the importance of being educated and about being directed. And so I say that about you because the work that you do, I also do it on your side, and I really appreciate having another servant out there doing the work because it gives me an opportunity to kick it, with somebody who understands.
There's not very many of them.
No, it's not many of them. So so I like that. So why do you do what you do?
I do it because as I was traveling and as I was working as a package car driver for UPS, I had the opportunity to see how other communities handled themselves, how they carried themselves in the summertime when kids are out of school. I saw how they prepare for all of that, how they make the streets safer, how families and communities and block clubs come together to make their neighborhood a place where if you don't want to have to leave your neighborhood and your community, you don't have to. There's always something happening on the north side in the summertime. So as I worked for UPS, I went to the north side one Saturday to a musical event, and the police followed me around under that tent all the time I was there. And I knew the merchants that were there, but the police didn't know who I was. So the police harassed me And because I was the only black person there, I was treated unfairly until one of the merchants there said, "That's our UPS man, you're messing with the wrong guy." And I didn't down the police for doing that. I say, well, I wish the police had that type of interest in strange people in our community.
So let me ask this, because I felt a certain spirit about you going somewhere. And we're going to come back, and I'm going to ask you about something in particular. There's an initiative out about relationships, about strengthening relationships with law enforcement and the community. So think about that, and I want you to take that question. How can we strengthen relationships with the law enforcement and the community? Because lately, the relationships are being strained. Be it for some reckless and officers out there shooting folks and all of this old crazy stuff, or whatever is going on out there. How can or should we even improve or try to improve relationships? So hold on to that thought. David, tell us who are you and what you do.
My name is David Elam, and I'm the president emeritus of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. And I'm just an up-and-coming community leader on the west side of Chicago, across the city of Chicago, just being that inspiration to other young people across the city to understand and know that, there are people out there who, looking onto you or looking at you, you're not always by yourself. Nowadays, our young people think that they all lost and their backs are against the wall and no one cares about them, no one loves them, no one's there to look out for them. But that's not the case. I mean, no one is going to come to you. No one is going to give you anything. You have to seek, resources for yourself, because there's plenty out there, and there's plenty people who would, take the time out to get to know you, to mentor you, to show you a better way of how to go about life if you are going down the wrong way, or if you have went down the wrong way. They will definitely lead you back to the right way. I'm living proof of that.
So you feel like being mentored has helped you, huh?
Yes, it definitely has.
So what is your responsibility now that you have taken on some of the reins of what it takes to empower other young people?
My responsibility is to pour into other young people as my elders have poured into me.
Absolutely. So with that being said, let's get on. You're watching Fathers Who Care right now. I was getting heavy into this conversation with you guys. Listen, the phone number here is 312-738-1060. 312-738-1060. Question tonight is, what can we do to empower each other, help each other to reduce some of this influx of violence in the neighborhood, and also to curb some of this influx of use of these illegal drugs or these emerging drugs. Give me some names of it, David. Give me some names of this opioid. And first of all, what is opioid? What is opioid?
An opioid is a drug. It's a synthetic drug that is used to relieve pain. And opioids, they come in three forms. They come in a form of a capsule, tablets, and liquids.
Okay. So Oxycontin.
That's a tablet.
That's a tablet. Robitussin.
Liquid.
What's the other one you said?
And they come in capsules, like
Capsule.
the big.
Give me some names.
Like the big pills.
The big pills. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So give me some names of some of the fentanyl.
Yeah.
Fentanyl. And what's the other stuff they got out there?
Lean.
Lean.
They got the mollies.
The mollies.
They call them Percocets. That's a form of a molly pill, but that's the street terminology that they use.
So
for
some of the emerging drugs that's out there, this is for some of you folks who are watching who don't get a chance to understand about some of the stuff that's out here. We got some of our young folks who know what's been out here, that's out here on the street. You said opioids, you said lean, you said mollies, you said loud. What else did you say?
And you have Percocets too.
Percocets and Molly's pills, right?
Yeah, pills.
So anyway, let's get back to you, Hawk. And David, when we come back, we'll hope that you can give us an update on, last time we talked, you gave us an update on the shootings on the west side, particularly Austin, East Garfield, West Garfield, and North Lawndale. And so we're going to ask you for an update on the shootings since the last time we gave an update on that. And then we want you to give us some stats of how often folks are being shot and or killed in the city of Chicago. So Hawk, we back to you. So Hawk, you work for an organization that's doing a lot of community work, right?
Yes.
So, but I know that you have this real passion, about the law enforcement thing. So what about the relationship with law enforcement in the community? Can we curb this relationship? Should we try to curb this relationship? Should we try to bridge the relationship between law enforcement and the community? Why and why not?
I think it can be done because growing up on the west side of Chicago, I remember in the late 60s when I was in grade school, there was a great relationship because every school had an officer friendly, and that officer friendly knew every student. He was a mediator, he broke up fights, he kept fights from escalating.
I remember Officer Friendly, by the way.
And kept people from retaliating. He would squash beefs right then and there at the occurrence of the fight. No one knew these officers' name. You see him on the street or in his car, wow, there's Officer Friendly.
Yeah.
And so when the police got away from that, that's when the troubles all started. Now, in order for them to repair that relationship, I think they have to start right back with the young children in the schools, bring back Officer Friendly. It's not gonna be done overnight. It's gonna take some time. The way they built that trust back in the 60s, in the late 60s with the school children, I believe that's the starting point. Get back in the schools so these young kids...
And I heard that they were. I heard the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement are also in the schools now.
I've heard that, but I haven't seen that. Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, and I can't say that it's going on. I've heard a lot of promises of changes in the police department when it comes to community relations, but as far as witnessing any of those things, I have yet to see those things.
Well, I
has
heard a
been
rumor.
just talk.
I also heard a rumor that there's a new commander in the 11th district.
Is that right?
That's a rumor I heard. I don't know. I heard the rumor, but if it is, let us know so we can find out who the new one is, so we can try to hopefully establish a relationship. But I would be remiss if I didn't digress, and my heartfelt condolences goes out to the Franklin family. Aretha Franklin passed away.
Queen of Soul.
The Queen of Soul passed away this morning. If I'm not mistaken, I think she was 76, 76 or 70, up there, 76 or 78 or something up there, 76 or something. So our heart goes out to the family, the friends, and the fans of the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. And we want you all to remember that that is one of our elders and a staple in our community. And so do yourself justice and go out there and be nice to somebody. You know, remember our Queen, remember the music that she brought to us, remember transition is part of our existence. You know, we have to go through the transition. We're not here forever. So make sure that your dash in your name or your dash in your eulogy is what you've done in your life. So let's get back over here to David. David, give us the numbers. Give us the red numbers right now of how many murders are there in Austin.
To date, there are 42 for Austin.
42 homicides.
Homicides for Austin.
How many shootings?
173.
To date.
Yes.
How many homicides or deaths in Garfield Park?
A total of 29.
29.
To date.
To date. And how many shootings?
147.
How many in Lawndale?
19.
And how many shootings?
98.
Wow. Okay, so how about Inglewood? Let's go there.
Inglewood, 27 homicides.
27 homicides in Inglewood.
Yep.
How many shootings?
108.
So Austin, Garfield, Inglewood, and Lawndale are the highest, carry the highest rates of homicides in the city of Chicago.
Yes.
But primarily, the highest rate of murders or homicides is on the west side of Chicago.
The west side of Chicago.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Is that what you're... So how often is a person shot and or killed in the city of Chicago?
In the city of Chicago, upon my research and data that I've collected, a person is shot and the city of Chicago every 2 hours and 51 minutes.
Shot or killed?
Shot.
They shot every 2 hours and 51 minutes.
Yes.
And how often are folks, folks are
Murdered.
Yes.
victims of senseless violence? and murder?
People in the city of Chicago, every 14 hours and 52 minutes, someone dies in the city of Chicago
Wow.
from senseless violence.
Wow. You heard it here. One of our young men are telling us the facts around here about the homicide rate in the city of Chicago. So it's Austin, East Garfield Park, Inglewood, and North Lawndale, right?
Yes.
And you're saying every 14 hours, 14 to 15 hours, someone
being
loses their
murdered.
life.
Yes.
And you're saying every 2 hours, 51 seconds, someone is shot.
Yes.
Possibly killed. Whew. Hawk, let's get back to you. Ooh, man.
Staggering numbers.
Staggering numbers, staggering numbers. So, Hawk, back to you. What's missing in our community to stop this influx of senseless violence? What's missing? And listen,
Brotherhood.
whoever stole Hawk's stuff out of his garage, bring it back.
Yes, bring it back, please.
Please?
Please.
Let's get this caller, then we come back.
Okay.
Caller, you on the air. Your comment or question, please.
What's up, Reverend Jones, Brother Walter? This is Brother Travis.
Travis, my man.
Ladies Club TV show.
Hey, Travis.
How's everything, brothers?
Man, everything is everything, man. Still on the field, doing his will and trying to make a deal.
I see you. Let me tell you what happened early this morning. Well, I'm sorry, yesterday morning. I got up, got on the internet, looked at the fact that 45 just signed the military budget, $716 billion. Then when you add in the CIA budget and some other security budget, it came to $1 trillion of our tax dollars. Now, here we go, sitting back and letting these folks take that kind of money and put it in defense. Now, remember when Johnson put the war on poverty and he took the money away from the war on poverty? We still got poverty.
Right.
And when you put people in a bad, negative situation, the only folks they're going to prey on is each other.
Okay.
That's just the law of physics. Now, we need our own Marshall Plan, not only in Chicago, but other black communities around the country. We got to put resources in these communities. The mayor took $1.6 billion of TIF money and gave it to his cronies. Can you imagine what that $1.6 billion would have did to our community?
Yes, sir.
It would have gave us an upshot that we need. So, to the brothers and sisters out there, we must begin to love ourselves first.
Amen.
I agree with you on that, Travis.
After we love ourselves, then we can begin to love each other.
Thank you, Travis.
Peace out.
Peace, peace, peace. You know, that's what I'm talking about, Hawk.
Yes.
Loving each other. And, you know, that seems to be the biggest challenge we face in our community.
Right.
But, Hawk, you was talking, I think we was asking you a question
Right.
about what's missing in our community to stop this influx of senseless violence and people taking property that don't belong to them. And I think Travis hit it on the head.
Just hit on it, yes.
We need to love each other. We need to forgive each other. We need to support each other. But talk to me. And those who broke in Hawk's garage, please bring his stuff back.
But even before that, we must first learn to know who we are. We must know ourselves.
Okay.
You must know thyself. And knowing thyself and knowing where you come from, knowing the
Right.
real history of black folk. That
Origin,
the
huh?
origin,
Yeah.
where we really come from,
Right.
not the school
The
book.
heirs of kings and
Yes,
queens.
we
Right.
come from a lineage of kings, queens, and emperors. And as much as the powers that be tried to hide that, they tried to knock the nose off the sphinxes over in Egypt, you know, because if you put the nose back, they noticed all the sphinxes. It looked like Martin Luther King. It's just looked just that way because
Yes, sir.
these were black people. Once you learn that we come from not just slave ships, we come from a lineage of kings, queens, and riches. And riches beyond our conception now. And when you know who you are and who from which you come, that changes your narrative about yourself. When you look in the mirror, you see a different person. You see who you really are deep down if you know who you really are.
Okay.
And that brings brotherhood into play.
Okay.
We must learn to first know ourselves, then love ourselves. And until you can love yourself, you can't love anyone else.
So give me a statement, David, that you would like to share with these young folks that's on your heart that you think would help to encourage and nurture these young folks to want to be the best that they can be.
I'll say, first of all, find you a powerful mentor. Find you someone that, you know, you can confide in, and someone who could show you the highways and byways of life if you feel like you have lost your way and need to regain consciousness of the real world. So I challenge all young people to confide in a teacher, a counselor, a community leader, a pastor, someone who you feel as though you could come to and talk to about any and everything that you have going on. Because trust me, they're here to listen.
Well, I appreciate that, David. You know, I've been working a long time with you, and you've given me some sleepless nights, all right? But I know, you know, it comes with the territory, all right? And I just want you to know I would never let you down nor let my children down. I would always be there for them, and anything I can do to be of example to Marshayla, Mari, Victoria, Vernisha, and all of them young folks that we deal with, that I may forget some of the names, but I just want you all to know that we're here for you. That's our purpose. Our purpose is to pour into you, to empower you, that you can be the best that you can be, but we want you to know that there's options out here for you. And at this time in your life, you should take advantage of every opportunity that's out here. For more information about Fathers Who Care, log on to fatherswhocare.org, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of that other good stuff. Meet us tomorrow at Clark Park, 4615 West Jackson. Movie night, dancing, stepping, free food, free entertainment, free resources. Just bring the family out, bring your chairs out. Come on, have some fun in the park, and come on and enjoy some time before the weather change on us. And let's do what we can to make this community a better place. God bless you. God love you. So do I. Keep doing the good work that you're doing, and we'll see you on the other side. Thank you, Hulk. Thank you, David. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for the work that you've been doing to make this community a better place. And we want you to know that we love you, and we'll see you later.